Hi everybody, I'm Jeremy Cordeaux. Welcome to the Facebook posting of the Court of Public Opinion from the garage for this Tuesday. Wherever you are, wherever you're watching it, I hope you're well and happy. The war is over. Well, maybe. Apparently. Maybe not. The RBA meets this afternoon where I'm pretty sure interest rates are going to be left on hold. And why? Well, the economy is flatlining. That's the problem. They won't want to make that worse. Senate hearings today as well, and tomorrow in Canberra. The biggest tax changes in 40 years. Business gets the token opportunity to voice their concerns and their fears. The academics, of course, will be rolling up. That's the cheer squad for the Labor Party. But business, the people who actually do stuff, who actually are out there, they'll be ignored. I mean, that's clear. Productivity will stall. The government not listening and taking seriously the advice of, listen to this, the Australian Chamber of Commerce and Industry, the Business Council of Australia, the Council of Small Businesses and Organisations, the Australian Industry Group. Is the government totally mad or just plain arrogant? Productivity, already low, will stall further. Investment will go elsewhere. Jobs will be lost. And confidence will evaporate. All that self-inflicted damage brought to us on the back of the lies told by the perpetrators on budget night, Anthony Albanese and Jim Chalmers. No wonder Pauline Hanson is the preferred Prime Minister of Australia. Pete's here, Gary's here. Each with a glass of wine, bless you. It's so cold here.
We might heat it up and call
it wine. We should, and I noticed that we've got 2 winter ducks. Does anyone know anything about ducks?
I've known some good duck jokes.
No, we've got 2 ducks. I guess it's a girl and a boy, mum and dad, in the swimming pool.
Oh, those ducks.
Yes.
They're back.
Well, I didn't think they got up to fun and games until spring. But anyway, that speaking of Pauline Hanson, that Fire the Liar campaign has been a great success. Pauline Hanson's war chest for, I think it's over that now, 4 million plus better off in just a few days. And as I just said, a survey reveals that she is the preferred Prime Minister. Now, I love the way these guys talk about populist parties. They use the word as a pejorative. Popularity, a pejorative, a negative word. What rubbish. They don't like the idea of being popular? Are they mad? That's how you win an election, I think, last time I looked. That's the whole democratic system. What's popular gets elected, what isn't doesn't. What could be simpler? Do you understand? Here comes Pauline Hanson. And here comes every Conservative government around the world because people have had enough of socialist progressive governments experimenting with society. It hasn't worked so well. So what are you going to do? Are you going to jump up and down and say these populists are wrong? Well, I think simply the left is on the wrong bus and has been for some time. Our sponsors, definitely not on the wrong bus. Rossdale Homes, a fine South Australian family-owned company, famous for their absolute fixed price guarantee. You get no nasty surprises whether you're a first home builder or a seasoned property developer. Nobody likes scary costs thrown in at the last moment. Their slogan is, and has been for years, Rossdale Homes, when trust is a must. Remember, with their fixed price contract, only you can change the price. For peace of mind and great quality, rossdalehomes.com.au. The Prime Minister says he is really trying to make a difference in people's lives. Oh, God bless you, sir. But I don't think he can be that stupid. When it comes to the real world, he must be able to read the room. Talk to Pauline. People just don't see these Labour Party policies, socialist policies, as improving their lives. It's all driven by ideology. You can see that in the budget. Supposedly there to help young people get into houses earlier and more easily. Look, that we might have believed till they extended it to the capital gains tax grab to other investment classes like shares. Now that's pure ideology, going back to which the Labour Party believed in for years, going back to 1985. Before 1985, and Bob Hawke and Paul Keating, we did not have a capital gains tax. This is pure ideological socialism, an attack on aspiration, self-reliance and personal achievement. And have a look at the popularity polls. Prime Minister, have a look at those polls. Also a problem for the government, it gets handed the findings of a 3-day, doesn't seem like a long time, 3-day NDIS Senate inquiry. On the insiders, I think I've got this quote right, the NDIS has grown to be far too expensive and far too big. Well, who allowed that? It has become a honeypot for fraudsters. The words of Mark Butler, the Minister for the NDIS. Which means you, sir, are responsible. You're the Minister, the responsible Minister. Who exactly do you blame? The previous Minister, Bill Shorten, said simply, it is in the hands of organised crime. Both men should be held personally responsible. All of this pain, both political, personal, and most importantly financial, should never have happened in the first place. There is a reason that no other country in the world has an NDIS. That is simply because it's unaffordable. You might like to do something like the NDIS, but common sense says that any government would be constrained by the financial realities and capabilities of the day. But if you're driven by ideology, you don't give a toss about those sort of realities. There was Mark Butler of the Insiders on Sunday, trying to sell his NDIS reforms as, what did he say, an improvement to the services being provided. Look, just be honest. Stop the lies, the spin. The simple thing for you and your government to do is take all of these changes announced in the budget to the next election and get people, us, we the people, to vote on them. You've got plenty of time to persuade the electorate. That would be the sensible, honourable, honest thing to do. Otherwise, you're going to wear the tag of liar all the way through. And I tell you, I've been in commercial radio and television for a long time, and fire the liar is a pretty potent electoral slogan. Mark Butler says, everything his government is doing is designed to make life easier. Now that's rubbish. The cost of living, the economy generally, these are the big issues. And Labour's green energy policy, net zero nonsense, is the biggest cause of inflation, which is the thing that is hurting the community more than anything else. By that I mean the cost of electricity. Now in Canberra, as I said, Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday, senators listened to passionate arguments from the disability sector to back off any attempt to reform the unaffordable NDIS. Back off! It seemed to me to be a bit of a show trial, some window dressing, the government going through the motions. We're listening, we're listening. I've been talking about this for 10 years. Fellas, it's a bit late to be listening now. The NDIS has been out of control since the beginning. They never thought it through. And to hear these people representing and defending the NDIS, the architecture of which seems to have been designed to attract fraudsters. This inquiry should have been set up 13 years ago to show you the way. Once people are given a benefit or an endowment like this, it is almost impossible to take it away or modify it. It's just that simple. It could have been set up to avoid fraud. It was set up to attract it. I would ask why. But this is water under the bridge. Actually, it's water down the drain. And when the Human Rights Commissioner gets up there in front of the Senate at the inquiry and says, to try and do something about this mess, control the spending, reduce the number of people on the NDIS, I guess she means, achieve savings of $34 billion. Now think about that. We're not talking about the cost of it. We're talking about the savings of $34 billion. The Commissioner says that if you try to do that, you are violating these people's human rights. Huh. Well, I'm sorry, Commissioner. Why don't other countries have an NDIS? Or are they violating the human rights of disabled people in their country? What do you think? You should take us to the United Nations. Shame on Australia. But no shame to any other country who has done nothing, including, and I will include them, the Human Rights and Equal Opportunity Commission. There are many institutions in this country, and I will also include the High Court of Australia, who do not seem to be acting in the interests of this country. And I don't know why. Government should encourage self-reliance. Out of all this whole NDIS mess, will Labor have learned any lessons, or will they just go on along their merry socialist way? Let me be clear. I do not believe that Labor will cut $34 billion out of the running costs of the NDIS. I do not believe that they will contain its growth to 2% a year. That's below inflation. Their budget, this is this controversial budget about which we were just speaking, has baked in these NDIS savings, which I believe leaves the entire budget in tatters. And keep in mind too that the whole definition of disability seems to be open to interpretation and manipulation, with a bit of doctor shopping thrown in. There are about 750,000 people on the Disability Support Pension, the DSP, Disability Support Pension. The same number of people who are on the NDIS. Is that double dipping? I don't know. Are they the same people? I don't know. I do know it's not sustainable. We have fewer and fewer people paying more and more tax to keep this show on the road. And that is not sustainable either. I'm out of time, Pete?
Getting there.
Yep. Okay, well, we'll go to some dates. Happy birthday if you're having a birthday. Happy birthday to Donald Trump. 80 years.
Exactly.
Yep, 80 years young. 80 years young. It's actually an interesting day for Donald Trump. I've got a note here. 2015, TV personality and real estate mogul Donald Trump launches his campaign for the Republican nomination for the US president or presidency at Trump Tower. 2015. Never mentions the word politician. But anyway, happy birthday, dear Donald. Is he hanging out for an honorary knighthood from the king? He'd love that.
He'd love that.
Oh, he'd love that. June the 16th. Holland forbids the wearing of orange clothes in a bid to stop rebellion. Are they having a go at Pauline?
It might be a reference to the orange people. I don't know.
Oh, I don't know. 1784.
Oh, no, she wasn't around.
No, 1784. Orange was causing trouble even way back then. Oh, yes. Ford Motors under Henry Ford incorporates on this day in 1903. On the same day, 1909, the first US airplane is sold commercially by Glenn Curtiss for $5,000. And I bet it was a beautiful looking thing. Biplane.
Good.
Maybe.
Very beautiful.
Beautiful looking plane. They knew how to design things. Same day, but 1941, the first US federally owned airport opened in Washington, D.C. Soviet space mission Vostok 6 is launched with Valentina Tereshkova on board. She becomes the first woman in space on this day in 1963. 2012, the same day, different year, Liu Yang is the first Chinese female astronaut in space aboard Shenzhou 9. 49 years to the day since the first woman cosmonaut, Valentina Tereshkova, was launched off. Although I've heard tapes where a woman's voice way before that, because, you know, you can have in the Soviet Union, you could have had all kinds of disasters and they just hushed them up. Nobody ever knew. America, when they went into space, every single mission was really covered 100% by global media. You couldn't dodge a disaster. But in the Soviet Union you could. And word was that there were women in space, sadly or tragically, who didn't come back before 1963. 90-year-old cosmetics company in America, Revlon, files for bankruptcy, blaming supply issues and rising costs. 2022. I didn't know Revlon had gone bankrupt. Isn't it still around?
Well, that's interesting you say that, because they produced a very famous product called ZP11.
Never heard of it.
It was taken over by another product called Head and Shoulders.
Oh, a dandruff thing.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
It was far superior, but all of a sudden, off the shelves it went.
The world's first book club, the Roxburgh Club, is founded before the infamous sale of the Duke of Roxburgh's library at a dinner hosted by the second Earls of Spencer at St Albans Tavern in London in 1812. The things you hear on this program called the Court of Public Opinion. Pepsi Cola is trademarked by the inventor Caleb Bradham on this day in 1903. On the same day, 2012, Coca-Cola begins business in Myanmar after 60 years. Soviet ballet dancer Rudolf Nureyev defects to the West in Paris. Always a stylish young man. 1961, Charles Sturt, English explorer, dies at the age of 74. The year was 1869. The Recording Academy announces new rules for Grammy Awards. aimed at AI use, stating only human creators can win, but a work containing AI is eligible as long as the human input is meaningful. Now that's a slippery slope. The year was 2023. Geronimo. That's what some people yell when they jump out of an aeroplane. I have a picture of him, the great Indian warrior, over on the other side of the garage. Geronimo, Apache leader and resistance fighter. He was born on this day in 1829 and he died, 1909. Abraham Lincoln says, I always love the stuff that he comes up with or came up with. Abraham Lincoln says, a house divided against itself cannot stand. Now that would be good advice for the Liberal Party. He said that when he was accepting the Illinois Republican Party's nomination for the Senate on this day in 1858. He could also give some advice to Labour, which might go something like, the more you do for people, the more you will have to do for people. Mary, Queen of Scots, imprisoned in Lochleven Castle in Scotland on this day in 1567. Soviet newspaper Pravda denounces the Marshall Plan, well, as you would. 1947. And 1960, the Psycho movie, a psychological horror film directed by Alfred Hitchcock starring Janet Leigh, Anthony Perkins and Vera Miles, opens in New York City. That was this day in 1960. On the same day in 1978, the film Grease opens starring John Travolta, a picture of whom is over there when he came to Adelaide, in the late 70s.
Really? You got a picture of him?
Yeah, together in the studio. Dear John Travolta, had a lot of hair in those days. John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John, based on the 1971 Broadway musical. We'd better leave it there, hadn't we? Yes. Thank you so much for being with us. And our posting for Thursday here in the garage on Facebook, and I know Andy Martin puts it out on all sorts of other platforms, and I think it also ends up on YouTube, I'm not sure. But anyway, wherever you're viewing the Court of Public Opinion from the garage, I thank you for doing that. Believe in yourself, and goodbye for now.